So compliance report periodically has to be reviewed. So board of director will have to periodically review compliance reports of all laws applicable to the listed entity, whether all laws are being complied with or not, right? So there in that case you will find that independent directors, the liability only generally arises in case he has specifically made certain omission or made certain misstatements, or it was his liability actually, that means it was his mistake in actual. If there is no mistake of him, then independent directors are generally not held liable for any non-compliance. So liability of independent director, you will see that independent director will be liable only in respect of such acts or omission or commission which had occurred with his her knowledge. That means he was aware about it, he consented to that decision, he attributed through board process, and with his her consent, with his her consent or connivance, or where he she had not acted diligently, not acted diligently. So in that case only independent director will liability will arise. Rest other cases liability will not be there generally. Then independent directors of the listed entity shall hold at least one meeting in a financial year without the presence of non-IDs. So you can see here. So in the boardroom, this is the leg of independent directors, and all these are all what, non-IDs, non-IDs. So we will kick non-IDs from the boardroom at least once in a year, and we will have our own meetings. That is, all independent directors will have our own meeting. So independent directors of the listed entity at least once in a financial year without the presence of non-IDs and members of the management, and all the IDs shall strive to be present at such meeting, shall meet in at least once in a financial year, and all the independent directors shall strive to be present at such meeting at least once in a year, right? So remember, you will remember this pick, and you will tend to remember the provision as well. The leg is of ID, independent director, and this is non-ID. Independent director who is resigning or is removed from the board of director of the listed entity shall be replaced by a new independent director. If you know, in companies act also, the vacancy has to be filled within next 3 months, within next 3 months. I think in company, yeah, in companies act also it is next 3 months, but now they have changed here, at the earliest but not later than 3 months from the date of such vacancy. And in companies act it is like in next general meeting or 3 months from the date of such vacancy. More or less it is same only, but the language is a, they have just changed a bit different. At the earliest but not later than 3 months from the date of such vacancy, you have to fill the vacancy of independent director. However, if the independent director vacancy has not to be filled, for example, it has not created into casual vacancy. Do you know what is casual vacancy? When is casual vacancy created? When is casual vacancy created? So suppose minimum two-third ID was required. Minimum two-third ID was required, right? In the case of, say, audit committee, an audit committee में 10 directors were 10 members, 10 directors were there, and you already had 8 IDs, 8 independent director, and out of this, one independent director left. Out of this, one independent director left. So how many are you left with? 7 ID, right? So this is not a case of casual vacancy because you are already being complying with the two-third provision. Minimum requirement you are complying already, and therefore you might not be required to compensate or fill the vacancy. You need not fill the vacancy, right, of the independent director. However, in case you are then short of minimum requirement, you are not complying with the minimum requirement, then that is a casual vacancy and has to be filled within next 3 months, within not later than 3 months from the date of creation of the such vacancy. Just read this. High value debt listed entity, there is a separate provision with respect to high value debt listed entity, that they will have to undertake D&O insurance. What do you mean by D&O insurance? Yeah, D&O insurance. हाँ, director and officer insurance, but what is it? Full form नहीं. So director and officer insurance, particularly we can deal with what, suppose director has not filed any financial statement, or director failed to comply with any regulatory requirement. So fine will be levied to whom? Fine will be levied to director, and also fine will be levied to company. So generally fine will be levied to company, and this fine will be borne by whom? Borne by shareholders, right? It will impact profit and loss. It will be impacted by the share. It will impact actually shareholders. So that is what director and officer insurance is. In case director and officers do not comply with any regulatory requirements, or because of which company is facing losses, then in that case they will be insured, and even director and officer will be insured. That whatever loss the company will be incurring, the same will be reimbursed, indemnified by the insurance company. Clear? So high value debt listed entity has to mandatorily comply with D&O insurance, because in any case if the penalty is huge, the debt holders will be impacted, right? Debt holders will be impacted, and debt holders are very very important, because they gave their money in good faith, they gave their money that in the hope that they will get the return in period in a specific tenure. However, if at all the case comes where because of the negligence of the director and officer, they are not able to pay the come back to the debt holders, then that is why there is a concept called D&O insurance, director and officer insurance. Meeting of board of directors. So section 173 subsection 1 says that first meeting has to be done within 30 days of the date of incorporation. You must be already aware about this. Minimum 4 meeting पाहिजे. Plus let at least 120 days gap has to be there between two meetings. For section 8 की company, section 8 company, only one meeting required in every 6 calendar months. Every 6 calendar month, calendar months. That means what? Jan to June, and then July to September. One meeting here and one meeting there. ठीक है? And IFSC के केस में in each half year. This is your homework. Or fine, you read here only then. Come to code of conduct. Code of conduct. What do you mean by this code of conduct? That means how you should conduct, right, in an entity. What all what all are your responsibilities, obligations should be properly documented, right? And this document will be called as what? Code of conduct. This document in which everything is specified specifically with respect to all the directors, all the senior management of the listed entity, what code of conduct they have to follow. If they told it is documented, everything is documented, and that is called as what? Code of conduct. So it says board of directors shall lay down a code of conduct. So board only will lay down the code of conduct for themselves and for senior management, right? So for themselves, that means for the board members as well as for the senior management. All the board members and senior management will then have to comply with this code of conduct, shall have to affirm the compliance whether they have complied with or not with this code of conduct. Annual report will contain a declaration to this effect also. Annual report mein declaration jayega, which is signed by CEO of the company. CEO will sign that all the code of conduct was complied. All the code of conduct was complied by the senior management as well as all the board of directors. Very very important MCQ can come from here. The code of conduct shall also be posted on the website of the company. Disclosure where? Is it done in annual report? No. It's done in website? Yes. And shall also be suitably incorporating all the duties of independent director as well as everyone who is in senior management or board of director. Now what do you mean by senior management? So they have specifically mentioned this. What do you mean by senior management? Just go through this. Right, so senior management who are forming the core team of the management excluding board of directors, right? So because board of directors are already covered, so why will they cover again? So they are wanting to cover those senior management who to whom code of conduct should apply. So this would normally comprise of all members of management one level below the CEO MD WTD manager level. And therefore, in that case, will include CS, company secretary, CFO, chief financial officer, right? Head of finance function. All this will be included. Now, vigil mechanism. This I've already told you, right? It's sort of a whistleblower mechanism where you feel that anyone is getting victimized, then you can straight away get direct access to chairperson of the audit committee. Chairperson of the audit committee को सीधा जाओ. So listed entity will have to establish a vigil mechanism committee so as to prevent victimization of the directors or to prevent victimization of the employees. The mechanism also provides for adequate safeguards against victimization who avail the mechanism and also provide direct access to the chairperson of the audit committee. The details of the establishment of such mechanism will be disclosed where we saw just above, right? It will be disclosed in website plus board report na, not remember, not annual report. So this was asked in MCQ exam. Then subsidiary of listed entity come here. Subsidiary of listed entity, very 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 important. ठीक है. So generally what you call a subsidiary is a material subsidiary. See, a material subsidiary shall mean a subsidiary whose income or net worth, that means subsidiary की जो income और net worth है, is exceeding 10% of the consolidated income or net worth of the group. So group का consolidated income, that means holding company, all the subsidiary companies, everyone will be included and we'll see consolidated net income or net worth, and then we'll see whether income of the subsidiary is exceeding 10% of the consolidated income or net worth. If yes, then it will be a material subsidiary. If yes, it will be a material subsidiary. The listed entity has to formulate a policy for determining material subsidiary. Fine, we can again determine our policy based on how we classify subsidiary as material or non-material subsidiary. That we have to follow as a practice. We have to formulate a policy, but that doesn't matter. Regulation 16 clause C specifically says that material subsidiary means a subsidiary जिसका income net worth exceeds 10% of the consolidated income or net worth. Now come to here management of subsidiary, and here in the case of unlisted material subsidiary. Which subsidiary? It is material subsidiary. However, it is unlisted. It is not a listed company. It is unlisted company, and it's a material subsidiary. However, material subsidiary here does not mean does not mean more than 20%. Instead, it means what? Instead, it means, sorry, not more than 10%. Just now we saw what? We saw na? We saw that it should exceed 10%. However, for the purpose of this point, this one only and only this point, instead it means what? More than 20%. Just go through there. Notwithstanding anything to the contrary contained in regulation 16 subregulation C, the term material subsidiary shall mean a subsidiary whose income or net worth exceeds 20% of the consolidated income or net worth respectively. So for the purpose of this point, you will see that this is a material subsidiary only when it exceeds 20%, not 10%. Just remember this. This is an exception to that regulation 16 clause C. And what does the provision say? The provision of the LODR says that if you are a listed entity, then your board of director, that means board of director of the listed entity, the holding company का board of director का एक that means one independent director of the listed entity will be director in the unlisted material subsidiary. Will be director in the unlisted material subsidiary, whether incorporated in India or not. Whether incorporated in India or not. So one independent director of the board of director of the listed entity will be a director on the board of director of the unlisted material subsidiary. Everyone getting this? एक आईडी वहां पे डायरेक्टर होगा, कहाँ पे? सब्सिडरी में. मिनिमम वन इंडिपेंडेंट डायरेक्टर विल बी डायरेक्टर इन द सब्सिडरी कंपनी के बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर में. If you are a material subsidiary and you are a unlisted subsidiary. So since you are unlisted, specifically we have to oversight, right? We have to monitor. So for that monitoring, for that oversight, we are appointing one independent director of us in your board of directors. Any doubt in the first point? Yes. Then comes material subsidiary. So doesn't matter whether it's a listed subsidiary or unlisted subsidiary. It doesn't matter whether it's a listed subsidiary or unlisted subsidiary. In the case if it is a material subsidiary, then listed entity shall not dispose of shares in its material subsidiary, resulting in reduction of its shareholding to less than equal to 50%. That means you are selling that amount of shares where you are not, where you will not then be any more subsidiary of that company. So in a way, you, in a sense, you are de-recognizing subsidiary position of that particular holding company. Then in that case, you are not allowed to sell that much amount of shares, where your control is past, where your exercise of control is past. However, you can sell that much amount of share if you have obtained special resolution. So unless you obtain special resolution, you won't be able to sell that much amount of shares where your control is less than 50%, less than or equal to 50%. And listed entities shall not sell, dispose of any of the assets. So assets, undertaking, could be any asset, could be any undertaking amounting to more than 20% of the total assets of the material subsidiary. So material subsidiary का, so listed entities shall not sell, dispose and lease of assets amounting to more than 20% of the total assets. So 20% of the total assets of the material subsidiary, if you are selling it, then it is not allowed unless special resolution is passed. Again, so material subsidiary का asset है, suppose this material subsidiary, the assets is suppose 120 cr. So if you want to sell any undertaking or any factory or any property, plant and equipment or any asset for that matter, if you want to sell it for, the amount is 25 cr, that means out of this 120 crore you are selling it, 25 crore of this 120 crore you are selling. That means what? It is amounting to more than 20%. It is amounting to more than 20% of the 120 cr. Then therefore in that case you will not be allowed to sell those assets unless you get special resolution, however the special resolution will not be applied if this transaction is made under a scheme of arrangement duly approved by court or tribunal, or under a resolution plan duly approved by section 31 of the IBC. So if the court NCLT itself approved that fine, you can sell off this asset and realize the money and pay to the shareholder or revive the company, whatever be the case. If the resolution plan is approved by in the IBC, such an event shall be disclosed to the recognized stock exchange within 1 day, and in that case you won't be required special resolution from the shareholders. However, please note that you have to disclose it to the recognized stock exchange within 1 day of the resolution plan being approved. Now comes unlisted subsidiary. Doesn't matter is it material subsidiary or non-material subsidiary. In those cases, audit committee of the listed entity shall also review the financial statements of the subsidiary. So listed company की जो audit committee है वो financial statement subsidiary का भी देखेगी, particularly investments made by the unlisted subsidiary company. Why we are particularly seeing investments that are made by the subsidiary company? Because we had made the investment in subsidiary company, so we have given the money to investments for we have given money to subsidiary company. Now how are they utilizing those money? So whether they are also investing somewhere else, so those are our money, right? That is our money, and that money has to be particularly monitored. So that is why audit committee of the listed entity will particularly oversight, will particularly review the investments made by the subsidiary company. Where are they making the investment? These are our money. Where are they flowing, outflowing the money? And the minutes of the board of meetings of the unlisted subsidiary, जो अपनी subsidiary company, unlisted subsidiary company, उसके जब भी board of director की meeting होगी, that board of director meeting के minutes of the meeting shall be placed at the board of meetings of the listed entity. अपने holding company के board of director की meeting में वो minutes of the meeting shall be placed upon here. And the management of the unlisted company shall periodically bring to the notice of the board of director a statement of all significant transaction. And again, what do you mean by significant transaction? Just go through this note. that is more than 10% of the revenues or expenses or total assets or total liabilities. If you are incurring any transaction which exceeds 10% of total revenue, total asset, total liability, total expense, then that transaction will be called a significant transaction. And in that case, management of the unlisted subsidiary will periodically bring to the notice of the listed entity के board of director को कि हमने ये significant transaction carry out किए हैं, that we have carried out all these significant transactions. These all have to be communicated to the listed entity by board of director of the unlisted subsidiary company. Just go through this once. This is being summarized. If you see and open StudyMat, you will find this is approx 1.5 to 2 pages in StudyMat. I just summarized it in a way that you will not forget. Just go through this again, please, this table. Chalo. Audit and secretarial compliance report. So if you are aware, section 204 or 205 of the Companies Act requires this secretarial compliance report, company secretary ki report. Company secretary report as per Companies Act also of every listed company and other public company exceeding prescribed limit. As per turnover, I think 1000 crore. Yeah, there are certain limits. So if you are falling into that category, then you will have to mandatorily get yourself audited by company secretary. Audited with respect to what? Audited with respect to compliance of all company laws, requirement and regulations. So that is there for all listed entities. Similarly, for its material subsidiary, unlisted subsidiary, material, its material, unlisted subsidiary. So listed company, anyway, the regulation will apply as per Companies Act also. Listed company, all listed company, it applies. However, unlisted subsidiary, but is a material subsidiary, incorporated in India, shall undertake secretarial audit and annex a secretarial audit report given by a practicing company secretary in such form as specified within the annual report of the listed entity. What was the form? If I am not able to recollect. Anyone able to recollect the form? पीसीएस का फुल फॉर्म क्या होगा सागर? Practicing company secretary who will do audit, who will issue the report, like CA issues audit report. Here secretarial compliance report है ना. So practicing company secretary will only be able to issue the audit report, secretarial audit report. Now tell me first of all, here for the purpose of calculation of material subsidiary, whether will include 10% or 20%. What will be the limit that we'll see? So this is exam question. 20, Krupali is saying 20. Suneshwaran is saying 20. Avijay is saying 10. Pooja is saying 20. Nikita is also saying 20. How come? 10 or 20? Why, Nikita? Why are you saying 20? 10 है कि 20? See, again consider 10 होगा कि 20? 10 होगा क्या विजा? सागर, will it be 10 or 20? So it will be 20, right? I told you na, for all for in general regulation 16C will prevail, and that is what? 10%. 10% will apply. However, specifically, notwithstanding anything to the contrary contained in regulation 16, the term material subsidiary here only, it will mean what? More than 20%, not in all the places. So rest everywhere for here also. Here also it will be what? 10%. Unlisted subsidiary here doesn't matter, but here also material subsidiary will be what? 10% only, not 20%. Similarly, here also it will be 10%, not 20%. ठीक है क्या everyone? Pooja, Nikita, and who were there? Krupali, Suneshwaran. Yes or no? Any doubt? Any doubt? Any doubt? then mark this, that this MR3 has to be submitted to stock exchange within 60 days from the end of each financial year. So this secretarial compliance report MR3 may has to be submitted to the stock exchange within 60 days from the end of each financial year. Clear? Come to NRC now. Nomination and Remuneration Committee. Again, MCQ can come. So Board of Director of every listed public company shall constitute NRC, Nomination and Remuneration Committee, in which at least 3 directors will be there, all of whom shall be NEDs. That means all the directors who are members in Nomination and Remuneration Committee NRC में जितने भी director member है वो सब के सब NED होंगे, and at least 3 directors has to be there, and at least 2/3 shall be ID. This 2/3 is amendment, so they can ask again a question from this. Earlier it was half. So at least 2/3 of the total members shall be independent directors. Shall be independent directors. So again repeat. 3 directors होंगे, all of whom shall be NEDs, and at least 2/3 shall be IDs. And chairperson of the committee shall be an independent director. Same as what? Tell me. Same as audit committee. Yes or no? So you have to start writing comments, reference, or something has to be the linkage, whatever it be. So you will tend to recall. So chairperson का same है दोनों जगह. Where in audit committee as well as in NRC. Here also they say that chairperson of the listed entity of the company, either it could be executive or non-executive. So chairperson of the company may be appointed as a member of the NRC, but shall not be appointed as chairperson of NRC. So he can be appointed as a member of NRC, but he won't chair the NRC. That means he cannot be appointed as chairperson of the NRC. Quorum will be again 2 or 1/3, whichever is higher, subject to minimum 1 ID required. Now this is again a different. So in audit committee we have how much? Audit committee में था minimum how much? 1/3 or 3 की 1/3 or 2? Kripali, repeat. What do you want me to repeat? Kripali, what do you want me to repeat?
सर वो कंपनी सेक्रेटरी वाला
कंपनी सेक्रेटरी वाला इज सेम लाइक कंपनी सेक्रेटरी का ऑडिट रिपोर्ट जाता है, कंप्लायंस रिपोर्ट जाता है. यू विल स्टडी इन सेक्शन 205 एज फार एज आई रिकलेक्ट इन डायरेक्टर्स चैप्टर कि कंपनी सेक्रेटरी का कंप्लायंस रिपोर्ट एक तुमको लेना पड़ेगा कि whether you are complying with all the provision of the companies act or not, whether you are complying with all the relevant legal regulatory requirement. तुमने सारे फॉर्म्स सबमिट किए ना, AOC फॉर्म, राइट, अदर फॉर्म्स जो भी जितने भी फॉर्म्स होते हैं. So whether the company has complied with all the provisions or not, and that has to be seen by the company secretary, right? So practicing company secretary, like in our case practicing chartered accountant issues a report. Similarly practicing company secretary will issue a report in form MR3. MR3 फॉर्म में पूरी रिपोर्ट जाएगी वेयर दे विल स्पेसिफाई क्या क्या कंप्लायंसेस हुए, क्या क्या नॉन कंप्लायंसेस थे, एंड दिस रिपोर्ट हैज टू बी सबमिटेड टू द स्टॉक एक्सचेंज विद इन 60 डेज फ्रॉम द एंड ऑफ फाइनेंशियल ईयर. ठीक है. और उसमें वो मटेरियल सब्सिडरी इंक्लूडिंग कौन कौन सी कंपनी कवर्ड है यहाँ पे. लिस्टेड कंपनी तो एनीवे कवर्ड है, एज आई टोल्ड यू कि कंपनीज एक्ट में भी कवर्ड है वो तो. सो एलओडीआर में स्पेसिफिकली लिस्टेड एंटिटी तो कवर्ड होंगे ही होंगे, प्लस दे हैव आल्सो कवर्ड मटेरियल अनलिस्टेड सब्सिडरी. सो इफ यू हैव एनी अनलिस्टेड सब्सिडरी ऑफ योर्स एंड दैट इज अ मटेरियल सब्सिडरी, देन आल्सो इट विल बी कवर्ड. ठीक है क्या कृपाली? यस और नो?
यस सर. सर एक्चुअली वो 10-20% के लिए पूछ रही थी सर मैम.
10-20% इज, आई एम टेलिंग यू कि 10% जो है तुम्हारा, that is specific, that is general limit that they are specified in regulation 16C ki how do will you classify whether a subsidiary is material or not. So that is a general limit 10% that will apply everywhere. However in that case, in the first case where material unlisted subsidiary में हमारा एक independent director वहां पे जाएगा, वो केस में स्पेसिफिकली दे सेड कि नॉट विस्टैंडिंग एनी लिमिट स्पेसिफाइड इन रेगुलेशन 16C, बट फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ दिस पॉइंट वी विल क्लासिफाई material subsidiary only when it exceeds 20% of the consolidated net income or net worth. So only for that provision, that point, the material subsidiary definition is 20%. Rest everywhere it will be 10%. ठीक है? ठीक है क्या? Yes or no? Let's try to summarize this all limits through this table. It's a very, very important table which will also help you in summarizing all limits. We'll share it in the group as well. If you are already subscribed to Telegram channel, then you'll find there also this table, this PDF. So see here. Yeah. So ऑडिट कमेटी में अपना कंपोजिशन कैसा था? मिनिमम 3 डायरेक्टर्स ऑफ टोटल मेंबर्स और 2/3 आईडी, राइट? मिनिमम 3 डायरेक्टर्स होने चाहिए ऑफ टोटल मेंबर्स. ओके, दिस इज अबाउट ऑडिट कमेटी, राइट? कंपोजिशन वॉज 3 डायरेक्टर होंगे, राइट? 2/3 आईडी होंगे जिसमें से, और अगर एसआर इक्विटी है तो 100% आईडी होंगे. या देन एनआरसी में यू विल सी कि एटलीस्ट 3 एनईडी होंगे. एनईडी क्यों बोला मैंने? बिकॉज वी हियर जस्ट नाउ वी सॉ व्हाट कि ऑल द डायरेक्टर्स शुड बी नॉन एग्जीक्यूटिव डायरेक्टर्स. So at least 3 directors has to be there and everyone has to be non-executive director. And then 2/3 minimum 2/3 इसमें भी आईडी होंगे. देन एसआरसी में अगेन यू विल सी के मिनिमम 3 डायरेक्टर्स होंगे, वहां पे भी उसने यही बोला है. देयर ऑल्सो इट सेड दैट इन द स्टेक होल्डर रिलेशनशिप कमिटी यू नीड टू हैव मिनिमम 3 directors. Then you will find again in risk management committee minimum 3 members, not directors. Minimum 3 members. They are saying what? Minimum 3 members. And members will be whom? Members will be, generally they say that members can be anyone, but more than 50% of the members shall be from BOD. That means this risk management committee na, in a short, if I want you to give a trick to remember all the points, in short you can just remember that RMC is Mota Mati board of director. Everything is done by board of director, everything is formulated by board of director only. So committee member also has to be decided by BOD. Majority 50%, not even majority, but at least 50%, more than equal to 50% of the board of directors shall be there in the RMC. Minimum 3 member तो होने ही होने चाहिए. Then minimum 1 ID. If outstanding SR equity तो 2/3 ID होंगे. And board of director के केस में we saw that at least 6 directors are required. At least 6 directors are required in the case of, top 2000 listed entity. So if you are falling in top 2000 listed entity, then in that case you should have at least 6 director. You should have at least 6 directors. Now meeting, not meeting actually, but quorum. If you can see quorum wise, you see in audit committee the quorum is 2 or 1/3 whichever is higher, subject to minimum 2 ID present. Audit committee में quorum क्या है? 2 or 1/3 whichever is higher, subject to minimum 2 ID present. Then in NRC the quorum was 2 or 1/3 whichever is higher, minimum 1 ID present now. 2 or 1/3 whichever is higher, subject to minimum 1 ID present. Then RMC में again it is what? 2 or 1/3 whichever is higher, subject to minimum 1 BOD member. As I told, यहाँ पे मैंने क्या बताया था, that you will see most of the time they are specifying about director, board of director का member, BOD का member, because that is actually a committee formulated by board of director, risk management committee. So there also minimum 1 board member has to be there. Minimum 1 board member has to be there. Has to be there where? Has to be there in the quorum. In the quorum. There could be other members also, but 1 board member होना चाहिए quorum में. Then only quorum will be valid. So 2 or 1/3 whichever is higher again, but 1 board member यहाँ पे होगा. And 1/3 or 3 whichever is higher. In the case of top 2000 listed entity, we saw what? 1/3 or 3 whichever is higher, at least 1 ID required. You can recall all the limits again. See, 2 or 1/3 or 3 whichever is higher. This is unique. You can say this is unique in the sense they are talking about 3 directors. Minimum 3 directors they want, or 1/3 whichever is higher. Rest all the places they are wanting what? 2, minimum 2 only, right? So rest all the places you will see minimum 2. minimum 2 or one third, whichever is higher. So one third everyone is everywhere it is one third or two. Everywhere it is one third or two, whichever is higher, except for board of director. Except for board of director, वहां पे क्या बोला, minimum 3 or one third, whichever is higher. So board of director में you will recall that at least 3 or one third, whichever is higher. And फिर उसके बाद just try to recall कि in the audit committee they have asked for minimum 2 ID presence. The presence of minimum 2 ID. In audit committee they have asked for minimum 2 IDs present. Rest everywhere they have required at least one ID only. So minimum one ID should be present, and in the case of risk management committee, as I told you, instead of ID they will talk about what? Board member. They will talk about normal director. So एक director होना चाहिए, and in other cases minimum one ID should be present. However, in the case of audit committee, specifically remember कि minimum two ID is required. So एक जगह पे just remember audit committee में exception है, and एक जगह पे remember in last BOD पे exception है. 3 or one third, whichever is there. 3 or one third, whichever is there. ठीक है? So that is how you can try to recall all the quorums. So this has to be done. That is simultaneously see what all provisions are there everywhere. Then only you will be able to reconcile, recollect, and retain. Now meeting, if you can see, minimum 4 meeting has to be there in a year. 120 days का gap allowed है. But in the case of NRC and SRC, the meeting should be held only once in a year. एक बार भी करो तो भी चलेगा. RMC में you have to do meeting twice in a year. Earlier here also it was once. It was also once in a year earlier, but they have amended and now it is twice in a year. And gap between two meetings shall not exceed 180 days. Obviously, right? 180 days से ज़्यादा gap नहीं होना चाहिए. And then board of directors. Chairperson, you will find that chairperson of the audit committee can only be an independent director. Chairperson of the nomination and remuneration committee shall also be independent director. Chairperson of SRC, stakeholder relationship committee, it can be only and only non-executive director only. Chairperson shall be an ED always. And then chairperson of RMC shall be from BOD only. That means chairperson director ही होना चाहिए. Chairperson board of director का member होना चाहिए. That means what? Chairperson of the risk management committee should be director only. So this is how we have then recollected all the limits everywhere in the committee. Let's try to continue now. So that's what they were saying. NRC में at least 3 directors पाइजे, at least 3 directors पाइजे, and all should be NEDs. All should be NEDs. At least two-thirds shall be independent director. Chairperson of the committee shall be independent director. Chairperson can be member in the NRC, but however cannot be chairperson of the NRC. Quorum again two-third or two or one-third, whichever is higher. Two or one-third, whichever is higher. But minimum one ID should be required. Minimum one ID is required. And then meeting may at least once in a year. At least once in a year. So go through this homework. This is important. This was my exam question, November 2020 exam question. Role of NRC. So go through this. You'll have to recall. Just come to last point once. What do you mean by this point? Read this and tell me. बोलो.
May be present, may get present in the meeting, but it is not mandatory for him to answer the queries.
No, no.
The chairperson may or may not be present at the AGM, and he might decide if he is present, he would answer the queries, and if he is not present, if he has assigned the duty to some other person, he will be present and he will answer the queries.
Again, first part is right only, but the second part is not. Second
So,
part says what? Yeah.
chairperson in the meeting, chairperson may decide the person who will answer the query if he is not answering the query.
Which chairperson? Chairperson of NRC.
Yes, chairperson of NRC.
So it's not like that. Chairperson of the NRC may be present at the AGM to answer the shareholders' query. However, as I told you, it will be upon the chairperson of the company. जो CP कंपनी का होगा ना, like Ambani. In the case of L&T, it is AM Nayak. AM Nayak. So AM Nayak will answer all the queries, and if he requires, he can tell chairperson of the NRC Nomination and Remuneration Committee to answer. ठीक है? Getting it? It would be up
But
to
sir,
chairperson of the company whether he wants anyone else to answer, else he will only be answering. Chairperson of the NRC has to be present to answer queries if at all it is required by chairperson of the company to tell, to let him know and let him give the answer. क्या बोल रहे सोनी? Not clear.
actually, sir, but the point is not clearly saying that which chairperson of company
So
or
generally I'm
chairperson
telling
of.
you na that this is the case. Generally you will find in the AGM that it is the chairperson who will be answering all the shareholder queries. If at all he requires anyone else to answer, then he will have to say. Else chairperson of the company will be answering to all the shareholders query. So it would be up to upon him whether he wants chairperson of the NRC to answer this query, whether he wants chairperson of the audit committee to answer this query, whether he wants company secretary to answer any specific query. ठीक है? Not that
But
important, but practically that is how it goes. ठीक है?
मतलब सर ये जो पावर है ये चेयरपर्सन ऑफ कंपनी के पास है कि वो डिसाइड करेगा कि
Yeah,
कौन
you
आंसर
when you
करेगा.
attend AGM now, you will see if you are attending virtual AGM, you will see only the face of chairperson of the company. You'll in case of L&T, you will see only the face of AM NAC, no one else. Everyone else is sitting just beside him only, but you will see the face of only chairperson of the company, and he is only answering
Clear.
all the queries. Not even CFO, not even MD, no one else.
Okay, sir.
चले, गरिमा. Garima, why are you late? Urgent work.
Sir, I usually see recorded lecture.
Okay, okay. So come to stakeholder relationship committee. SRC. SRC. What is the purpose of stakeholder relationship committee? It is to specifically look into various aspects of the interest of the shareholder, debenture holder, or whoever be the stakeholders of the company, deposit holder, debenture holder, or any other security holders. So any grievance that you have as a deposit holder, as a debenture holder, or as a shareholder, you have not received dividend, you have not received rights issue, bonus issue, whatever be the case, you can for these grievances reach out to stakeholder relationship committee SRC, and the chairperson shall be again non-executive director. In the case of SRC, chairperson shall be NED and shall be present at the AGM to answer the queries of the shareholder if required. Minimum three director has to be the composition of the SRC, and minimum one ID shall be member of the SRC. But if the company has issued outstanding special right equity shares, that means if the company is having SR equity shares, then independent director shall comprise of 2/3 of the total members of the SRC. So out of total members of the SRC, 2/3 shall be independent directors. If that is not the case, minimum one ID is required. However, if SR equity is there, then 2/3. SRC shall meet again at least once in a year. Role of SRC, again it's a homework, and when I am giving you a homework, does not mean it's not important. It's in fact very very important. They can ask you the composition, and they can ask you separately for 2-3 marks role of committee. But that is in a way I've already told you, right? The role is what? To resolve all the grievances of the shareholder, deposit holder, debenture holder, or any of your stakeholders, review measures for effective exercise of voting rights by shareholders, adherence to service standard adopted by listed entity in respect of various service being rendered by registrar and share transfer agent. So these are all by role of stakeholder relationship committee. We'll go through who is a STA, who is a registrar. Registrar STA कौन होता है? We'll go through just below. ऑडिटर की ड्यूटी क्या बनती है? ऑडिटर की ड्यूटी इज टू चेक अपॉन द मिनट्स बुक ऑफ द स्टेक होल्डर रिलेशनशिप कमेटी की जो मीटिंग होती है उसका मिनट बुक देखो एंड सी वेदर ऑल द कंप्लायंसेस हैज बीन डन और नॉट, ऑल द मिनिमम रेगुलेटरी रिक्वायरमेंट हैज कंप्लाइड विद और नॉट. Composition wise, you will see composition proper hai ki nahi. You will see what all points they have discussed, whether they have resolved the grievances or not, whether they in their meeting address the grievances or not. So that all as an auditor you will see. Come to risk management committee now, RMC, risk management committee. Applicability wise, if you see top 10,000, top 1,000 listed entity, top 1,000 listed entity, right? So applicability is top 1,000 listed entity and high value debt listed entity, high value debt listed entity. So for them, risk management committee, the composition shall be minimum 3 members shall be there, and out of all the members in the RMC, minimum 3 तो होने ही चाहिए members. As a member I am talking about, and out of all the members, suppose there are 8 members in the RMC, then at least 50% shall be from board of directors. That means what? Out of 8, at least 4 shall be directors of the company. At least 50% shall be from the board of directors. Then minimum 1 ID is required, and if outstanding SR equity, then 2/3 ID is required. Same goes for SRC. So SRC and RMC is same. If you see SRC and RMC, it's same. Minimum 1 ID, and अगर outstanding SR equity है तो 2/3 ID required. In the RMC also it is minimum 1 ID, or in case of outstanding SR equity है तो it's required 2/3 ID. Clear? Then they shall meet at least twice in a year. Gap shall not exceed 180 days between 2 meetings. Then quorum will be 2 or 1/3, whichever is higher. 2 or 1/3, whichever is higher. I told you it's same only like rest of the company, rest of the limits. 2 or 1/3, whichever is higher, subject to minimum 1. However, here one board member, because this meeting, this committee is constituted by the board of directors. So एक board of director तो होना ही होना चाहिए कहाँ पे quorum में. And it is constituted by chairperson is from the board of directors. Chairperson of the committee will be from board of director only. That means chairperson will be a director. Doesn't matter, it could be ED, it could be an NED, it could be independent director, it doesn't matter, but the chairperson shall be director. Then top 10,000 listed entity को ही applicable है ये. Top not 10,000, sorry, top 1,000 listed entity and high value debt listed entity. Top 1,000 listed entity and high value debt listed entity. Composition wise, you can see minimum 3 member required. 50% shall be from BOD. Minimum 1 ID, but however if outstanding SR equity है तो 2/3 ID. Chairperson of RMC to be from the board of director only. Senior executive of listed entity may become member of the committee. Yes, they can become member of the committee. Quorum may you will find 2 or 1/3, whichever is higher. At least one board of director is required. However, not independent director, but any director, any director is required in the case of RMC. Because I told you what, board of director generally defines roles, responsibility. Board of director can delegate review of RMC plan to risk management committee. So it is in general a function of BOD only. It is generally a function of board of director. They only delegate any function to be carried out by the risk management committee. They only decide upon the role and responsibility of the risk management committee, right? And such functions can specifically cover cyber security. So all these function that is delegated by board of director, one should always delegate relating to cyber security. So cyber security related the function has to be specifically given by them. Then roles responsibility of RMC shall mandatorily include performance of the function specified in part D of schedule 2. And this part D of schedule 2 we will see in last of the chapter. We will see this, but let's cover other points first. Twice they have to meet in a year. Gap between 2 meetings shall not exceed 180 days. Power क्या है तुम्हारे पास? To seek information from any employee obtaining outside legal advice, professional advice, and to secure attendance of outsider with relevant expertise. So in overall, your function is to manage the risk within the entity properly by involving all the outside expertise, by involving all the professional advices, legal advices, and to seek information from any employee where you feel that this information is really relevant and important. So take a break here. Let's meet at 8:40. ठीक है. So we'll start with now statement of deviations or variations. Statement of deviations or variations. So deviation or variation in terms of what? In terms of utilization of funds. So whatever funds you took from the public, from the rights issue, preferential issue, whatever be the case, whatever funds you took, you will be telling to the fund givers that we will be using this fund for this purpose, for that particular purpose. If you are not using for those purposes, then that is a deviation or a variation, right? So listed entity has to submit to the stock exchange this statement of deviations. This statement of deviation or variation, this has to be submitted to the stock exchange. Remember, to the stock exchange. The following statement on a quarterly basis. So stock exchange को भेजना है first and on a quarterly basis. Quarterly basis. These two are important. It is not to be submitted to the SEBI. It is not to be submitted to the shareholder. It is to be submitted to the stock exchange, and that too on a quarterly basis for public issue, rights issue, preferential issue, indicating any sort of deviations that you have in the use of proceeds from the objects stated in the offer document. So in the offer document, you will be stating that we are going to use the funds raised through this IPO, through this rights issue for this purpose. So any deviation from the use of proceeds that you stated in the offer document versus what you actually utilized will be stated here, and an explanatory statement to the notice for general meeting as applicable. So explanatory statement to the notice of the general meeting may be you give the usage detail that we will be using this IPO funds for this purpose. So you have to then accordingly see whether any deviation is there in the use of proceeds of the funds. Also indicate category wise variation. So if you have seen that category wise, you thought that capital expenditure we will do this much, operating expenditure we will do this much. So capital expenditure you decided that we will be opening few new factory outlets, right? New head office. So this was capital expenditure that you were to make. However, you instead of using it for factory outlets, you used it for opening of the head offices. Then that is a category wise variation. Similarly, sales and marketing, working capital, you issued certain portion of the funds, then you did not use for working capital, instead use for capital expense only, then that is again a deviation variation. So category wise variation also you have to indicate between projected utilization of the fund made it in the offer document and versus actual utilization that you made. So statement has to be given till such period till the issue proceeds have been fully utilized. So till the time issue proceeds have fully been utilized for the purpose that it was raised, till that time you have to issue statement. You have to issue statement quarterly. Quarterly has to be issued. And where an entity has raised funds through preferential allotment, that means through specific persons, the listed entity shall disclose every year the utilization of such funds during that year in its annual report until such funds are fully utilized. So you have to also disclose it every year in the annual report. Annual report in the case of preferential allotment or QIPs. So preferential allotments or QIPs may annual report disclosure will happen every year until such funds are fully utilized. Now come to information to shareholder. So information out to shareholder, all information that shareholder seeks, you have to provide to them, right? So first of all, you have to provide to them listed, in the case of listed entity, you have to provide them, provide whom? Provide shareholders soft copy of annual report. So soft copy of annual report has to be provided to all shareholders, right? And hard copy of salient features. So important features of the annual report, hard copy of that annual report you can provide to the shareholder unless shareholders require a full annual report copy, hard copy. Unless shareholder requests for a full annual hard copy, you will provide what? Soft copy of full annual report and hard copy of the salient feature of the annual report. Why? Because go green, save plants, save trees, right? Save pages. So that is why they say that of all the documents as prescribed in section 136 of the Companies Act or rules made thereunder where the email address has not been registered. So if the email address is not registered, then you will provide what? Hard copies of salient features. And if they require or if the shareholders request for full hard copy, then you will also provide with full hard copy. Just remember, hard copies of full annual report to those shareholders who request for the same. That means hard copy will not be provided to all, only to those whose email ID is not registered and who request that salient feature copy won't work, we want hard copy, full hard copy. And how many days you have to provide with them? Within not less than 21 days before the AGM. So AGM के 21 दिन पहले तुम्हारा चले जाना चाहिए सॉफ्ट कॉपी, और if case annual email address is not registered, then hard copy of the salient features, or full copy if requested. And if you are appointing a new director or reappointing any director, then shareholders must be provided with the following information. Information to shareholder will include further information if you are appointing any new director or reappointment of any new director or reappointment of a director is being happening. So you will provide with a brief resume of the director by in which companies he was there earlier, what is the area of experience, area of specialization, everything they will specify. Nature of his expertise, specific functional area where he is specialized, disclosure of relationship between director interested. That means whether this new director has any earlier relationship between other directors, if at all he has any. Then names of listed entity in which the person holds the directorship and membership of the committees of the board. So is he already a member of any other audit committee of any other company, chairperson of any stakeholder relationship committee of any other company? So all these names of listed entities you will provide. And lastly, shareholding of the non-executive directors. So if you are being appointed as a NED, or if you are being reappointed as a NED, then you also have to disclose what your shareholding in the company. In the case of independent director, the skills and capabilities required for the role and the manner in which the proposed person meets such a requirement with respect to what? Requirement with respect to skills, capabilities. Because we are hiring independent director for what purpose? For guidance, for giving us advice. In sitting fees, he will be charging sitting fees, right? So in board of meetings, we require valuable inputs from him. So that is why we require capability, skills, right? And therefore, the manner in which the proposed person meets such requirement will have to be decided. So in case of independent director, the skills capabilities required for the role and the manner in which the proposed person meets such requirement will have to be decided. This is a new point which was not there before. So I have included it separately in a green box. So resume you will provide, expertise कहाँ पे है, function कौन सा functional area का है उसका important, director के साथ क्या relationship है, directors relationship inter से, right? Any other listed entity in which is already a committee member. Shareholding क्या है, अगर वो NED है तो what is his shareholding in the company? What is the skills and capabilities that he possesses if he is being appointed as an independent director? So all these points will have to be mentioned. This can be asked separately. Remember, for 4 mark or 5 mark. Any doubt? You can go through these 2 points again. If you have any doubt, you can ask right away. Yes, so transfer or transmission or transposition of securities. So not relevant for exam purpose, but we should understand first the difference between transfer, transmission and transposition, right? So see here the difference. Transfer is like normal interchange. Transmission is due to inheritance or succession. So if anyone dies, so because of that, there is the transfer of securities, and that is called as what? Transmission, not transfer. And transposition is like where it is in the name of A and B, jointly in the name of A and B, but demat is in the name of B and A. So share is in the shareholding, share is in the name of A and B, demat is in the name of B and A. So you will have to change the share now in the name of B and A, or demat in the name of A and B. It is called as what? Transposition. Transposition, changing, right? So transposition is interchange between themselves. A and B को B and A कर रहे हो. So transposition, like you must have be aware about Excel shortcut formula for transposition, Alt ESV और Control Alt V करके नीचे में जाके transposition वाला स्पेशल पे स्पेस स्पेशल में जाके और Alt ESV स्पेशल पे. So similarly transposition, A and B को B and A कर रहे हो. So transfer, transmission or transposition of securities. So board of director, which the board of director of listed entities can have delegate the power of transfer of securities to committee or to compliance officer. Who is compliance officer of any company? Who is the compliance officer of any company? Right, CS, right? So कंपनी सेक्रेटरी को दे सकते हो, या तो कमिटी, कोई एक कमिटी बैठा सकते हो, where they will now see the transfer or transmission of the securities within the company. So if anyone applies for transfer it to any other person, this committee compliance officer will see, or they can also delegate it to registrar to an issue or share transfer agent. Have you come across any registrar? Have you applied for any IPO? So IPO, if you will apply, you will generally come across one big registrar, which is LinkedIn Time. LinkedIn Time is like a major registrar generally involved in the case of major IPOs. So you can also transfer to them, then registrar to an issue or share transfer agent will handle on your behalf what any transfer of securities related work. ठीक है? Then board of directors and the delegated authorities shall attend to the formalities pertaining to transfer. So obviously they will have to attend to all these authorities, all these formalities relating to transfer of securities, transmission of securities, but they have to attend every once in a fortnight. Fortnight. What do you mean by fortnight? How many days or how many months? Fortnight.
20 days.
20 days. It's 15 days, 14 days.
15 days. 2 week.
Yeah. So 14 days time. In a 14 days, in every fortnight, you'll have to attend to this transfer whether we have transferred all the securities that is being pending since last 14 days. So we'll have to address to all those securities which have been applied to us, right, in every fortnight, once in every fortnight, and delegated authority shall report on transfer to the board of director in each meeting. So if you have delegated to a committee or delegated to a LinkedIn Time, right, delegated to registrar to an issue or delegated to CS of the company, then CS or agent or registrar to an issue, whatever be the case, will inform to the board of director regarding the transfer of the securities, because ultimately the responsibility is of BOD, right? BOD is just delegating the work. So the delegatees will have to report to the BOD, board of directors. Role of auditor, you can see it is more or less these 3 points only. Just go through this role of auditor. So now come to compliance certificate, which I also call it as what? CEO CFO certificate. Not me, but entire industry. In company in L&T, we used to prepare CEO CFO certificate and then send it across for their certification. So for preparing this certificate, we have to go through various checklists. Sorry. So practically we had to go through all indices, whether we have complied with all indices. We would take consent of all the managers that of different sectors that they have complied with indices, accounting and everything, and then further prepared what, that yes, financial statement give true and fair view. There is no such material untrue statement which is present in the financial statement that could be misleading, and no fraudulent transaction has happened. The internal controls are adequate over financial reporting, everything is good. So all these points used to be reported. So CFO, CEO, CFO certificate shall certify to the board. Which board you are talking about? Which board? Bolo. Board of directors shall certify to the board of directors.
Sir, audit
CEO,
committee.
CFO will submit to the board of directors.
Audit committee.
Audit committee.
And
Shareholders committee.
Arey board has to be there na. This committee are not BODs. Board mere means
SEBI.
SEBI board. Wherever in LODR they will specify board, then that is what? SEBI board. SEBI के board. SEBI को you will have to submit to the SEBI. Shall certify to the board means shall certify to the SEBI board. CEO, CFO certificate. CEO and CFO will certify to the SEBI board that they have reviewed the financial statement, cash flow statement for the year ended, and to the best of their knowledge and belief, they feel that their financial statement do not contain any material untrue statement. First point. Do not contain any material untrue statement or omit any material fact that could be misleading. The financial statement give true and fair view, and comply with all applicable accounting policies, accounting standards, legal and regulatory requirement, whatever is applicable to the entity. And to the best of their knowledge and belief, they do not find any transaction. There is any no transaction entered into by the listed entity which are fraudulent, illegal, or violative of the entity's code of conduct. So no fraudulent transaction, no illegal transaction, no violative transactions which are violative of the listed entities code of conduct. They will also accept the responsibility for establishing and maintaining of internal control for financial statement reporting, and they have also evaluated effectiveness of those internal control system. And if at all is there any deficiency in the design or operation of the internal controls of which they are aware, the steps they have taken for the removal of this deficiency and propose to take rectifying these deficiencies. So particularly they have to be indicated, they have indicated to the auditors and audit committee. They have indicated, that means they will certify to the SEBI board and tell them what? Tell them that we have already indicated to the auditors and audit committee whatever change in internal control we are proposing, significant changes in internal control or financial reporting during the year, whatever changes there were there, and significant changes in accounting policies, and instances of any fraudulent transaction that you are becoming aware about involving the management or an employee having a significant role in the entity's internal control system over financial reporting. So see, these 3 points pertains to above only. Significant changes in internal control, right? The third point, last point, changes in accounting policy will relate to what? The financial statement give true and fair view, complying with all relevant accounting policies, accounting standards, and your applicable FRF, applicable legal and regulatory requirement. And there is no fraudulent violative transaction. Do you remember? No fraudulent transaction violative of any code of conduct. So that is what they are saying, that if at all you come across any such point, then you will indicate to the auditors and the audit committee any significant and you indicate any significant changes in accounting policy, significant changes in internal control, or instances of significant fraud. This is part A. This is part A. Part A of CEO CFO certificate. Part B generally deals with ICO-FR. Part B generally deals with ICO-FR. Internal controls over financial reporting. ICO-FR. So compliance certificate will assert that yes, they have evaluated all the effectiveness, whether the controls are operating effectively or not. Which controls? Which controls? ICO-FR, internal controls over financial reporting. Compliance certificate will further state the manner in which deficiencies in the design or operation of such internal controls has been disclosed to the auditors and the audit committee. So just now we saw in above that if at all you come across any deficiencies, then you will report it to the auditors and report it to the audit committee. So that is what they are saying, that compliance certificate will further state the manner how you are going to communicate those deficiencies to the auditors and to the audit committees, and state the steps that you will take further to rectify this deficiency. How are you going to change or rectify this deficiency? And in the context of internal control, auditor have to ensure the adequate internal control framework. What is the assessment process? Is it reasonable or not? In the accounting policies in the system of internal controls are communicated. If there are any changes in the accounting policy, if there are any changes in the internal controls, whether the same is communicated to the audit committee, auditors. All the points that we saw above. All the points that we saw above. You can go through the same. Just go through this once. Just remember part A. Part A is important. Compliance certificate, CEO, CFO. They can ask separately for 4 to 5 mark question. Part B is simple. It talks about accounting policy, right? ICO-FR. It talks about particularly with respect to ICO-FR. Internal control over financial reporting. Then we'll start with MADA. Fatafat. We don't have much time left. So come to MADA now. Management discussion and analysis. MADA. So we'll go through one MADA section separately. We will open L&T ka MADA section. We don't have much time now. We'll open separately in SA 720. When we'll be doing SA 720 na, we'll go through MADA section, and there you will realize that they have specifically for each segment, L&T hydrocarbon, L&T transport, L&T metro, L&T smart city, L&T whatever division, they have tens of thousands of, I mean 20 to 30 divisions of L&T itself. They have, and each segment could be so vast, so big that they could separately list a listed entity, and that would also overcome major listed entities. That means that is the volume of the transaction that is happening in L&T. Just wanted to say what, that they will specify relating to each segment, each sector of the L&T pertaining to industry structure and development. What is the development over L&T hydrocarbon? What is the development over L&T transport? What is the outlook? segment wise, product wise performance under each segment. Then what is the opportunity in transport? What is the opportunity in metros? Threats, risk and concerns. Risk and concern. What are risk? What is the concern? What is the internal control system and their adequacy? That will.
Sir, voice.
So all these points they will have to specifically disclose. All these points will be disclosed. Industry structure developments, outlook, segment wise, product wise performance, opportunities, threats, risk and concerns, internal control system and their adequacy, discussion on financial performance with respect to operational performance, material developments in HR, industry relationship, including number of people employed, details of any significant changes. Now this is important. This is where I expect a MCQ that can be asked. Pay attention. Details of any significant changes. And what do you mean by significant change? Change of 25% or more as compared to the immediately preceding financial year in key financial ratio, along with detailed explanation why there was a significant change in these key financial ratios. So key financial ratios could be debt to equity ratio, inventory turnover, debtor turnover ratio, interest coverage ratio, current ratio, liquid ratio, net profit margin ratio, operating profit margin ratio, right? All these are key ratios. Any other sector specific equivalent ratio. So if you ask me, for banks, these there are two more very important ratios. One is LCR and another one is NSFR ratio. Net stability funding ratio, liquidity coverage ratio. The others are GNPA ratio, gross net non performing asset ratio, and NPA ratio. So these are sector specific ratio. If I talk about NBFC, so NBFC important ratio is GS3 ratio, NS3 ratio, gross stage 3 asset ratio, net stage 3 asset ratio. So different sector can have different key ratios, but however we have to significantly see if there is any significant change. Significant change means what? 25% or more, and details of any change in return on net worth as compared to the immediately preceding financial year, along with a detailed explanation why there is a change. So I'll ask you one MCQ question now. फटाफट से आंसर करना. Current ratio, the percentage change will be calculated what? Like suppose it was last year 2:1 and now it is what? 2.8:1. So how will you calculate 2.8 divided by 2.0 minus 1, right? Into 100. So there you will get what? 0.8 by 2. 0.8 by 2. 0.8 by 2 कितना होता है? Or suppose this is 3. 3. Then 3 is what? 50%. 50% change. 50% change. Debt to equity, there is a change of 28%. That means there is significant debt increased in the entity. Similarly, inventory turnover ratio, there is not much change, 5% change. Debtor turnover ratio, 12% change is there. And then your interest coverage ratio, 24%. Net profit margin ratio, the change is 5%. And your return on net worth, 3%. Option is what all ratios you have to specifically justify the changes, significant changes, what all ratios you have to specifically justify. Option A, option A, 1, 2, 5, 6, 7. Option B, 1, 2, 7. Option C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Option D, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Which option is correct? This is not yet been tested anywhere in any platform of ICI. However, can be tested. I can think of a question like this. If they at all they want to make a complex question. Yes, which option is correct? Where you have to report with justification why there is a change in key financial ratios. Dhanlakshmi is saying option B. Nikita is saying option C. Option C. Okay, I'll change the option. There is a mistake in option. Yeah. Option A, B, C, or D. Everyone option A, B, C, or D. Everyone saying option B. Avijay is saying option A. Pooja is saying option A. Then Lakshmi is option A, B, A. So final answer will be what? Final answer will be what? Krupali, Pooja. Details of any change in return on net worth as compared to immediately preceding financial year along with detailed explanation. Krupali, B. Now, so got the point. Details of any change and 25% or more change in all the key financial ratios. Pooja, it's now B, right? So option will be, correct option will be B. Option B. ठीक है. Auditor to keep in mind SA 315 and the fact that he is only required to review the compliance with disclosure requirements and not verify the particular facts as disclosed by the management. So this all this segment wise, product wise performance you will be reporting anyway in Ind AS 108, right? In segment reporting, Ind AS 108 or AS 17. So let's try to stretch 10 more minutes and try to cover whatever points we can. Other disclosure we will refer to last page. That means these points, these 4 disclosure points, in which I will be giving homework with respect to disclosure transparency, accounting treatment, and sexual harassment of women at workplace. So sexual harassment of women at workplace में जो disclosure तुमको करना है is like what are the cases which are pending as of opening cases, opening balance का cases of opening balance. Then what are the new cases that has come during the quarter, right? And then cases solved during the period, and lastly closing balance of the cases which are pending during the financial year. Sorry, not during the quarter but during the financial year. So number of complaints filed during the year, number of complaints disposed of during the year, and how many number of complaints you are still left with as at the end of the year. So that is the disclosure that you have to make in the case of sexual harassment. Disclosure of in relation to sexual harassment of women at workplace, Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act 2013. That is other disclosure 4 points. Report on corporate governance. Report on corporate governance. Now this is, you might get confused with compliance report. Compliance report, right? So there in the compliance report, if you remember, we were saying what? CEO CFO certificate, right? CEO CFO certificate will be submitted to whom? Will be submitted to the SEBI board. SEBI board को submit करना रहता है. That financial statement give true and fair view. No material untrue statement is there. No omission of material facts which is misleading. No fraudulent, no violative transactions. No violation of the code of conduct. All these have to be reported to SEBI board. CEO CFO will certify the same, right? But here in corporate governance, the compliance officer, that means what? CS of the company and CEO or CEO, sorry, CS or CEO. There it was CEO and CFO. Both have to certify. Here it is CS or CEO will give certification that they are complying with all legal regulatory requirement, with all the disclosure requirement of LODR. All the compliances are being carried out. That is quarterly compliances. Quarterly. Report on corporate governance. Corporate governance means what? LODR, all the listing obligation disclosure requirement, SEBI LODR requirement, disclosure requirement, corporate governance requirement. Quarterly you are complying with, and quarterly you have to give report as specified by the board. That means as specified by SEBI board. You have to give report to whom? You have to give to National Stock Exchange or BSE, wherever you are listed. So you have to give report to the recognized stock exchange within 21 days from the end of each quarter. within 21 days from the end of each quarter. Clear? Shall be signed by either CS of the company or CEO of the company. The auditor has to ascertain whether the board have included in the annual report of the company a separate section on corporate governance. So generally you will find that in the annual report there is a separate section on corporate governance. So there you will find this report also, that the CS and CFO of the CEO of the company has provided to the National Stock Exchange or Bombay Stock Exchange. Any data in the report on corporate governance should not be inconsistent with what is contained in the financial statements. So whatever information you are already disclosing in the financial statement, those should tally with the your compliance report. So compliance report and financial statement should be tallied. Now this is auditor certificate. This is very simple. They can issue adverse or qualified statement if there is any of the violation of the LODR. So any violation you see in LODR, like chairperson of the audit committee is not an independent director, audit committee does not meet 4 times in a year. So any sort of violation you file or you find, then you can issue a adverse or qualified report by the auditor. They can issue an adverse or qualified statement if at all they require, if they find that any of the non-compliances are there in of SEBI LODR. So auditor certificate, you can just go through the same homework. This risk management committee also, there is an homework. However, we'll specifically go through last 3 points. So risk management committee, do you remember risk management committee? There we saw that functions will be specified separately in the schedule annexure. So there they need to periodically review the risk management policy of the company. So policy will be set up by whom? Policy will be set up by BOD, right? So risk management committee have to specifically review the risk management policy of the company at least once in 2 years. Whether is it still adequate or not, whether is it still relevant or not. So at least once in every 2 years they have to see risk management policy, including by considering any changes that is required because of the dynamic environment, dynamic external environment, any changes that is required, they have to particularly monitor once every in 2 years, once in every 2 years. And appointment, removal, terms of remuneration of chief risk officer shall be subject to the review by RMC. Just like chief internal auditor, do you remember chief internal auditor shall be subject to the review by audit committee? Similarly, chief risk officer will be subject to the review by your risk management committee. Same like chief internal auditor was appointed by audit committee first. Now this disclosure we will do tomorrow then. Please go through the homework, revise again, and just hold on a second. So this, all the remaining points of around 1 or 2 odd pages we will cover tomorrow, right? Till then, whatever we have done, please do revise and come. Okay, LODR is almost over. Tomorrow class timing same, Dhanlakshmi, 7 only. ठीक है, चलो, bye.